So now that you've seen the method, I want you to understand, again, now you can visualize what I'm talking about, is that I created this method in hopes to get a lot of velocity out of your hips and train the hips at high velocity. Now, what that method that you saw, the RTM method with the bands hooked to the rack, is you're seeing that you're creating a huge amount of force on the eccentric part, which gives the ability of the hip and the knee to absorb more force. And then it can, once it can absorb that force, then it can reapply it because of the stretch reflex. So again, the limitation, people think, oh, I'll do reactive stuff with the hips. But really, there's this chain effect, okay, or whip effect, that the hips are often left out in the reactiveness of plyometrics. Because this is more reactive, this is more reactive, the knee joint, and then it goes to the hips and there's not much reactiveness left there, okay? Now, some of the unique things with that exercise is with some of our more advanced athletes, we've seen one of them move the hips at just under 2 meters per second with the bands and apply enough force that the bands pulled the rack off the ground when you saw the athlete doing it. So this tells you that we're actually training the hips when it comes to plyometrics. So I think this is extremely effective for big athletes in regards to linemen, shot putters, because those athletes rarely stress their hips in plyometrics. They'll stress their ankle a lot, but not their hips or their knee as much. But for any athlete, especially, let's say you even have a high jumper who has a great ankle complex and can jump 7 feet, the big thing for them is that little snap and being able to train the hips and the knee joint to help propel them even faster along with the ankle complex, okay? So, and this is kind of a whip effect when you see people jump. And, well, it depends on how they jump. Some are knee jumpers, some are hip jumpers, and in the later videos I'm going to explain that and how to modify that in regards to changing this exercise up a little bit to provide you as more of a knee complex jumper. So somebody that might be a lower back jumper would want to do more knee complex with this exercise, and or someone that's quad dominant would want to modify the exercise to do more hip training, because you want to get rid of that compensation pattern of being a knee jumper or vice versa, a hip lower back jumper, let's per se. You want it balanced out and you want them to be even so they're not compensating. Now, with that being said, you can see that there's a lot of possibilities, and in the videos after this I'm going to explain various concepts and give you all these considerations with the RTM method, the Reflexive Trimetric Method.